Hello everyone, welcome to the freezing Kentucky. I found some footage on my memory cards from last spring when we were in Las Vegas. We visited the Viva Las Vegas, and at that time my friends who came visited me from Hungary, they wanted to go and shoot some guns. So we went to that private collection where you can actually shoot some really high caliber automatic rifles. So come with me and let's look around what can we find there. In Las Vegas, not too far from the glamour and glitter, you will find a bunch of homeless people. Unfortunately, they congregate here in large numbers. They're getting taken care of, they're getting food, and sometimes the government gives them tents to stay in, but this is unfortunately part of Las Vegas as well. Some of them came from California, some of them came from the other side of the country where the local government bought them bus tickets to come over here thinking that it's warmer. It happened the same way with Hawaii too. I was very surprised that it was cheaper for the governments to buy them tickets to fly on an airliner to go to Hawaii and then just stay on the beach. So there is not only the glamour and all the glitter what Las Vegas is about. I don't know if you guys ever been there, but this is not that far from downtown. The question comes up how easy it is to become homeless in the US, and its answer is very easy. Now we are in a Circus Circus. This is another part of the downtown area, and you can see the Circus Circus hotel, and behind it there's Shooting Vegas, and they collected a whole bunch of military vehicles. So we're gonna go through them. Not all of them are U.S. So there are some really interesting military equipment here. After this American M3A1 half-track, now you can see a Leopard tank. It's an A1 from Germany. It's hard to believe that you can see one here, but apparently it's okay. Looking at the rear view mirrors, maybe it can actually drive on the streets. But I don't know if you would see one of these on the streets of Vegas. What would people think? And here's an old, wow, you guys probably know it better what it is. It's crazy. I'm just looking at how much the sun damages tires because I got two old buses from the 50s and I'm battling with the same problem, but it's sometimes it's really intense heat around here. Then this one is a scout car. They have signs in front of their vehicles, so some of these signs you can just stop the video and look at what they are. I don't know what that one is. I'm not a military guy. I've never been in the military. I don't know much about any of that, but I'm hoping that you guys enjoy seeing them. Maybe some of you have some stories with them when your grandpa or you actually been to World War II or any other wars where they use these things. Now, this one is a Czechoslovakian troop-carrying vehicle. It's actually an amphibious one. I had something to do with the Hungarian version where only had 4 wheels, and that was also amphibious. That would be so cool to have one of these. This you can see it is a Polish personal carrying vehicle. There are several more tanks, and what they're using these tanks for is crazy. You're gonna see a car getting squished. This one looks like an amphibious vehicle too, and another tank, which I don't know what that is. Let's look at the sign on it. It's crazy. It looks like it came from Iraq. Yeah, it's mind-boggling. I'm pretty sure some of you actually been there before or been there on a mission to fight, and you've probably seen these things in action. I heard somebody bought one of these and the fuel tank was full of gold in England, and then they had to give up all the gold because I guess you're not allowed to own anything there. There's a UH-1B sitting up here where you can take pictures, and it's a little bit elevated so you can get the feel that you're actually flying in it. Yeah, that was very first time they really used this one. It was in the Vietnam War. It's a very durable, interesting piece of machinery. Later on, they had more than one engine, and it's like a turbine engine what runs the whole thing. There's not much left of it. Looks like the engine, the instrument canister is just got graphics on it. It's not real instruments in it, but it looks good for a picture. Most of us or the rest of the world see these helicopters in movies and on pictures, but close up, it's actually a pretty large ship. These blades are huge also. It's just crazy. And they have the really particularly interesting sound as they're flying by.
Here's this airfoil. It's an upside down airfoil, so it's actually developing the lift going downwards to keep the tail going down instead of up, but you can still adjust this from the inside, I believe. These next two vehicles are from the United Kingdom. The first one is an armored personal troop carrying vehicle, and then the following one is a tank. I think it's called the Chieftain, and there are several marks just like any other British cars. So I wonder if these things broke down just as often as our British cars do. I have a couple Austin Hills which they always leak in, but they're always starting. And I don't know what this stubby thing is. Looks like it's from the US. And next to it is a T-55. The sign says it's from Poland. It would be interesting to know how did that get here. But I guess you can buy it from there. If you want to read about it, you can stop the video. I wonder if they can still shoot, but most certainly they can use their tracks to go across things. Some of them are actually working or kept in working condition, if not all of them. Well, don't climb on them. Thank you very much. The sign says it's a 007 Chieftain. Looks like there's some oil marks underneath. That must mean that it has oil in it, but the engine is on the back. So yeah, and you can see the tracks that it was actually moved not too long ago. Yeah, you guys remember the James Bond movie where they were chasing each other in Moscow with one of these? That was awesome. It looks like, yeah, I would love to have one of these. What would you use a tank for? Well, for squishing cars. What else are you gonna do with it? There's a very famous YouTuber who making a living out of destroying everything he touches, and looks like people really enjoying that. He just bought a tank, and then he's definitely destroying all kind of things with it, from a Model T up to a Ferrari. What I just don't know. It's just over my head. But as we're going forward, here's a Sikorsky helicopter. I think the engine is up in the front in this big round B-looking compartment, and then the pilot sitting really high up. I guess you can use it for lifting things. It's got 4 huge blades and a gigantic engine on the front. Sikorsky made a lot of really interesting helicopters, and he's really successful in doing that. They can safely fly around. Yeah, the helicopter's definition for me, because I'm a fixed wing guy, is like a 10,000 piece trying to shake itself apart. But I think these helicopters are really reliable. Although I never flew one and never knew anyone who flew one. If you know somebody who had any kind of experience in this, please let me know in the comments. I only flew just about 2 hours of helicopters, and they were on Little Robinsons. And the rest of my 13,000 hours are on fixed wing airplanes. Well, let's get back into the tanks. There is another armored passenger troop carrying vehicle. Well, there is a hatch missing. It looks like that's another troop carrying vehicle, and then a huge tank. The sign says XM734, and you can pause the video again and you can read all about it if you wish. I am from Hungary, and in 1956 in Hungary, people got tired of the Soviet occupation, and they stood up and started to fight against the communists. And then the Russians, the communist leadership basically told the Russians that, hey, there is a little problem here. So the Russians came in, and then they took care of it, I guess. And that time a lot of people left Hungary. Not too long ago there was a memorial for this, and there was a couple ex-Hungarian guys who knew how to drive a Russian tank. They were there, and then there was a Russian tank brought over for the memorials, basically for demonstration. They got into the tank and they knew how to start it, and they actually took it for a ride. And everybody was all scared what they're gonna do with it, but really didn't do much. They just studied it up and took it for a spin and gave it back. Here's an amphibious light tank from the Soviet Union. You gotta differentiate between the Soviet Union and Russia, because today's Russia is basically came out of the Soviet Union, but it's a very different story nowadays than it was before. I grew up behind the Iron Curtain and seen all this bad stuff what happened. But by the time I was young in the 70s and 80s, there was relatively peaceful times, but we were still kind of under the regime of the communists and János Kádár, who was the the big leader of Hungary at that time. But he really wanted to have peace between all the groups. So let's leave politics behind. Here are the cars. I think they are waiting for destroyment, I would say. They can push them under the tracks and then drive the tanks through these vehicles. That would be pretty cool to see. But I don't think it's going to happen today. There is a really large gun. I wonder where is it from. Let's go look at it. Also from the Soviet Union. That's like a real battle gun. My grandparents told me a lot about the war when the Soviets, when the Germans came, and then when the Soviets came, and everybody ran over Hungary, and there was a lot of bad juju was going around for years, which most likely the U.S. did not experience because there was no actual physical war inside the borders. So I really, because of that, I had first-hand encounters. I heard first-hand encounters from my relatives that how war looks like and how awful that is. So I'm really against all these things, what's happening around the world today. This helicopter looks like a modified Jet Ranger and has these blades. So if you cut an electrical wire, then it will cut the wire. So if the helicopter wouldn't go down, otherwise it would the wire would go up or down and then basically destroy the helicopter. So I wonder how well this works. It looks very interesting to see that over here. It says OH58 Kiowa. I don't know what that is, but here it is. Here is another half-track vehicle next to it. And then looks like a Cobra. I had some friends who flew these Cobras before. They said it's a very agile helicopter. Looks like it's missing some pieces from it. Like there's no top, no blades, no front, but it's still a Cobra. And several more tanks next to it, which I assume they don't have the signs because they're using them regularly. They say don't climb on it. Yeah, I can see somebody would climb up and take pictures on the top of it. And here's another, most likely a squash candidate next to this other tank. And then they have these repair stations here where they're fixing all these tanks. So it's pretty cool that they can do it locally. And another British Land Rover, which likes to get stuck in the sand usually. If you really want to go in the sand and do some real sand driving, you most likely need a Toyota Land Cruiser or something like that. Let's go over and look at this vehicle and that tank as it was stopped in its tracks. And you can see the sign on it, Battlefield Vegas. If you ever come to Vegas to visit, I would recommend to come here and look at all these tanks. And then we can go inside and then shoot some guns. Basically, we're gonna go there too in a minute. You can see how there was nothing to it. It just basically went over, bent backwards a little bit, went forward. Pretty cool. That would certainly make a good video to see this happening. There's some Humvees. Looks like in a desert configuration. It's very surprising how wide they are. Because I never been exposed to that before. Like I said, I've never been in the military. I had a friend who in Hungary who was asked to build a better one because these ones were always cracking when the people went off-roading with it. And he built a very similar but better version of it where it wouldn't crack. He said the way they put it together, it was very poorly made. But I guess he made a better one. Now we're inside the lobby for shooting, and there are several more artifacts which you can see from the wars, from the bombs to all kind of grenade launchers, and you can buy many things. And here's the menu. You can actually fire any of those guns what has a label next to it. And the lady's helping my friend out here to find out what he would like to shoot, so he was able to find the guns what he was liking. Everything costs money today, so the shooting what he paid for it was about $250, what you're gonna see in a little bit. These are not only newly used or newly manufactured guns, but there are some real historical guns what you can also try. So there are several interesting things what you can actually shoot in a safe environment. There is a surplus store in Vegas where I really like to go to, and you can buy many of the similar things, most likely a lot cheaper than here. but this is basically channeled towards the tourists. Has a nice throne. My friend Zsolt, he came from Hungary with his friend Lizzie, and then we went around Vegas, and now he really wanted to see this place, so he bought a ticket for shooting several guns. So he used to be in the military in Hungary when he was young. He was still behind the Iron Curtain, so he really appreciated all this military equipment outside. And there's a total gun control in Hungary, so you cannot use any of these guns. There are many other people are shooting. This is gonna be our stall, and our guy is making it ready for Zsolt to shoot the guns what he choose. And we got all the bullets ready. And there is the this is what we're supposed to try right here.
Any questions?
The first gun is an M1 carbine. It's a 30 caliber. World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War era. They made it between 1942 and 1973. We're joking with Zsolt that should we bring that target closer because you may not gonna able to find it, but yeah, I think he's a pretty good shoot. Next I'm gonna have to translate a little bit for my friend here because he doesn't speak English.
So look, into your shoulder.
Oda kell raknod a vállat.
Look into that hole.
Átnézel azon a lyukon.
So you're only aiming for the red circle.
Teljesen automata.
Make sure you lean into it.
Azt, hogy előre kell dőlnöd.
Any questions?
Kérdés van. Next on the menu is a Thompson submachine gun. They designed it in 1918 and they made it between 21 and 45. It's a 45 caliber. This is what the gangsters used in the wars in Chicago.
Right? Left.
Jobb oldal, bal kéz, belenéz. Állít egy kicsit.
You can see a red dot in there. You see that red dot?
Azt mondja, látod a
That's where
piros
your bullet's
pontot?
gonna go. I'm gonna start you off at single shot. And then we'll go fully automatic.
Ez is teljesen automata, az először egy lövést fog csinálni, és utána ha nyomod, akkor megint akkor automatikusan fogja nyomni.
This one is that fully automatic FN Scar. Was made in Belgium. Incredible.
Nekik itt külön engedélyük van. Ez nagyot nyomott. Ennek itt akkora hangja van, hogy hihetetlen. Érzem a fejem, kész, mozog. Wow.
Damn good shoot.
Azt mondja, hogy nagyon jól.
Alright, we'll move on to your next.
Na, akkor az is megvan. És jön a következő.
AK-74, right?
AK-74.
You're gonna start. Red bullet's gonna
Nézel a
go.
pirosat, megnézed ugyanúgy.
Do you want to go straight fully automatic?
Azt mondja, teljesen automatán akarsz kezdeni? Azt mondja, nem kell egy lövés elsőnek, hanem egyből automatán megy. Föl van húzva, tessék, lehet nyomni. Ez nagyon, nagyon ki van találva itt, hogy lehet biztonságosan ezt csinálni.
Awesome job, my man. What's that? Pretty cool, right?
Azt mondja az úr, hogy nagyon jól csináltuk.
Alright, man, that's all your weapons, all your ammunition. Would you take a photo with any of your guns?
Azt mondja,
Good job, my man.
na, egész jól csináltuk. Azt mondja, nagyon meglepődött rajta, hogy ilyen eredményt ért el a túl. Szóval volt katona, úgyhogy, ja. Vegyes érzelmeitek vannak ezzel kapcsolatban, akkor ugye a katonaságban is van lövöldözés. Ja.
After coming out from shooting, you can take pictures with several different guns here. They're not loaded, but you can take pictures with it. If you happen to be in Vegas and you call them up, they will come with a Humvee to pick you up at your hotel. So it's a pretty cool little ride to come here, and then you can shoot or look at all these military equipment, what they collected. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next Friday with something else. Bye.